Hello, everybody, and welcome to Atheist Sunday School, your one-stop shop for everything Atheist Sunday and school. And boy, do we have a show for you today.
I am sorry that it took us so long. We were dealing with some serious audio issues.
We still are.
We still kind of are, but not nearly as much as it was earlier on.
I think we still are.
I just said not nearly as much as it was earlier on.
Chris is just salty about it.
Let's
continue with the show.
Yes, and we have some guests today.
We have guests. Welcome.
Yes, we got Chris Hansen and Landon Noll. So, whoever wants to introduce themselves first, go ahead.
Why should I introduce myself? You introduced me.
Well, anything.
Good afternoon or good evening, depending on time zone and latitude.
Okay.
And hello there from your friendly secular astronomer.
Dude, this is No, I can't hear them.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
That doesn't matter, man.
Can the chat room hear us?
I'm getting nothing from them.
Getting nothing from them. That's weird. That's really weird if you're getting nothing from them.
Can the chat hear them?
I hope the chat can hear them.
Chat,
Christopher,
tell
us.
or myself.
Because, I see literally no bars on my end when they talk.
Turn the sound up.
Turning the sound up makes static, does not increase the volume.
Well, actually, it would increase the volume.
Okay. No new noise. I still can't hear them at all, even if I turn the volume all the way up.
This is.
Oh, it says that Jonas says he can hear us.
Oh,
It says we can
not you.
hear you all.
Them.
No, he says we can hear you all.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's
so
why
it
is it
okay
not
that you
showing
can
up?
hear Christopher,
I don't know.
Landon,
I
and
guess
our
that's
illustrious
just on your end.
Well, no, they can hear him apparently.
All right.
Please continue like nothing happened.
Yeah, sorry about this, guys. That kind of sucks.
Yeah.
It's not my fault. There's no indicator.
I'm not saying it's your fault. Relax, Chris. Okay.
It's always his fault, though.
A little bit.
It's a fact.
But anyways, let's go right into the 100-point show and let's get through it pretty quick.
Yeah.
I think we should skip the announcements because this is already taking forever.
Yeah.
But 100-point show, I got a question for you guys, and it's kind of directly. I saved this question specifically until Landon was on the show.
dear.
How many moons were recently discovered around Saturn?
Well, I'm gonna say 12.
Chris, what are you gonna say?
I'm going to say too many.
Not. You gotta be exact. Give me an exact number.
I'm going to go with pi.
Okay, that's exact enough. Landon?
20.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah,
because
I was
of
gonna
course
guess
it is.
20. Damn.
That's a lot of moons.
Yeah, that is a lot of moons.
So do I get 100 points?
Yes,
Yep.
you get 100 points.
All right, I have a 100-point show question.
Do you?
Yeah.
Once you think of it.
I've gotta find a correct way to phrase it.
Oh my God.
All right. So I have a parakeet, and
I didn't know that, but okay.
parakeets come from a specific continent. The budgie-rigar
What are you even talking about?
is the name of the subspecies of parakeet that
Okay.
I have. What continent do these birds come from?
South America?
No.
Australia.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh my God.
See,
Landon-
Landon's racking up points.
Yeah, he is racking up points.
Yay! Sorry, Christopher, if you knew that.
Oh no, I didn't get that one.
I don't know shit unless it's about the Bible.
Chris 0.
So give us a 100-point question about the Bible then.
We got Chris 1 and Chris Prime.
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
All right. I'm
Here
just
we go.
really irritated. Aaron, look at this. Come here. Look at the
Okay.
fucking board.
You guys, shut up in the back. We are listening to our guests.
I'm aware.
Okay. Here's my 100-point show question. What is the name of the Katabanian Arabian moon god?
The Akkadian and
I
okay, I think I might know this one. Is it Sin?
No.
Damn.
Is it Mel?
Short
No.
for Melissa.
Yeah, Melissa.
No. Mel's the name of the lead actor of Braveheart.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Landon, you got one?
Rue? I don't know.
No. The name of the Katabanian South Arabian moon god is Am.
Okay, so for my 100-point question, element number 100, which is fermium, who, by the way, the longest half-life for the isotopes of fermium is around 100 days, was discovered, first discovered as a result of the first hydrogen bomb test in 1952.
Okay. Hold on, just a second, Landon. Just a second. Apparently, now the guests are not very audible.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who said that? Who said that nothing was showing up on the board? Oh, it was me. 100 points for me.
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
Number
Chris.
0.
Well, I can't do anything about it.
Can I mean, I can try.
It's not you, Landon.
Yeah, it's not on our end.
So if we project,
Turn it up and it just does nothing.
have high volume, can they hear us?
Let the world hear our voices, and all the world
Yeah,
awaits.
it's just really bad.
This is riveting. I will. I don't know if this helps or not for me to shout. I can project if I need to.
You're
Does
better.
that help?
It does help a bit. You're better.
Okay. So, if I project like this, I've got plenty of water.
Oh, geez, you don't have to, but it's kind of intense.
How about I just stand right here with the mic right against my face like this?
That's
Then
so
it-
much
then it-
better.
Sort of muffly.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, ASMR.
He's
Slam
saying
ASMR.
they
I can hear.
Okay.
So
they can hear.
They can hear.
Okay.
Great.
They can
Let's-
hear.
Okay.
Oh my
All
Let's
right.
get announcements
So
out.
here's.
We did.
Oh wait, we.
So
Landon's 100-point show question.
Yeah.
God, I hate life.
Remember my question. Element number 100, fermium, was discovered as a result of the first thermonuclear test in 1952. On what material was fermium first discovered? So there was a thermonuclear test. It was. I can give you a hint. I actually visited the place. It's at Aniwetok Atoll. On what material was fermium element number 100, whose longest half-life is 100 days? So lots of hundreds there. On what material was that element first discovered?
Was it ice in Antarctica?
The hint was that it's on the Aniwetok Atoll.
See, that doesn't help me.
Is it from nuclear testing?
It's in the middle of the Pacific, the Marshall Islands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think they blew that place
I
up.
visited.
I think I know the answer.
I'm gonna say.
Wasn't
Yeah.
it discovered on coral?
That is correct.
Coral. Nice.
Coral.
Coral.
Wow.
It was discovered on coral. In fact, I have pictures of the dig where they took out the coral at the time. So, return number 1, you have 100 points.
Congrats.
That is great.
Wow.
That's some good
Wow.
Googling.
Excellent. Why don't we get into the show?
Yeah, okay, announcements really, there's really not much. We
Yeah.
got some stuff going
Standard announcements, same as last week,
on. Yeah, pretty much.
except no point pyramid.
Yeah, no point pyramid. Because we
Nah,
did
we'll,
that.
We'll do it again.
We did that.
I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I thought it was a lot of fun too. I won in 2 different ways, so I was very, very proud of myself.
Yeah, good job.
He wanted to rub it in.
Excellent. Well, you know what? I have the King James Version of the Bible.
I have the English Standard Version of the Bible.
I have Gordis's commentary of Job.
And
That doesn't
I have
sound
the
like a proper
new
translation.
American Standard Bible, depending on your pronunciation.
Ooh.
Did you say Hurricane? The Hurricane Standard Bible?
The American.
Oh, the American.
American.
Okay.
New American Standard, because the old standard was not good enough.
We also have the Hebrew Bible, a translation with commentary by Robert Alter.
We have the Holy Scriptures according to some Jews.
We also have the New King James.
Yes.
Absolutely heretical.
Terrible. Not good enough. We have the Old Testament Survey from the New Interpreter's Bible. We have the Oxford Companion to the Bible.
And we have Eerdman's commentary on the Bible.
Yeah, that is what we have.
I've got more commentaries than you do.
Yes, you do.
Yes, he does.
We also have this for Halloween. I can't believe we almost didn't mention this.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it's just an hourglass. If you like hourglasses.
Did it take an hour?
Well, no, it's actually like 10 or 15 minutes.
So wouldn't it be a 10-minute glass?
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
doesn't sound as nice.
Doesn't sound
Okay.
as nice. It would
All
be
right.
nice if it
So
was
what chapters are we
legitimate.
reading today?
That'd be nice. We are reading chapters 22 through 27. This is the final cycle that is often, it's split up into cycles, and this is the final one in the discussion section of our narrative.
So we've seen the arguments and the counter arguments.
These are conclusions.
These are conclusions.
Yes.
Great. Well,
These are your closing arguments.
okay. I guess I'll get us started with
Great.
chapter 22.
Yes.
Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, Can a man be profitable unto God as he that is wise may be profitable unto himself? Is it any pleasure to the Almighty that thou art righteous? Or is it gain to him that thou makest thy ways perfect? Will he reprove thee for fear of thee? Will he enter with thee into judgment? Is not thy wickedness great, and thine iniquities infinite?
How could it be infinite iniquities? I mean, iniquities are countable things, right? There's no Aleph Noll of iniquities, so I think it mathematically
Don't
fails.
question.
Yes.
Ours is not to reason why. Ours is but to do and die.
Great.
So poetic.
For thou hast taken a pledge from thy brother for naught, and stripped the naked of their clothing. Thou hast not given water to the weary to drink, and thou hast withholden bread from the hungry. But as for the mighty man, not the mighty man,
No, just the one of them.
just the one, he had the earth, and the honorable man dwelt in it. Thou hast sent widows away empty, and the arms of the fatherless have been broken. Therefore, snares are round about thee, and sudden fear troubleth thee. So, yeah, it's all Job's fault.
Of course it is.
Yes. Or darkness that thou canst not see, and abundance of waters cover thee. Is not God in the height of heaven? And behold!
Behold!
Behold.
Behold!
Behold the height of the stars, how high they are. And thou sayest, How doth God know? Can he
Some
judge
are
through the
up
dark
close
cloud?
to 13 billion light years away, but currently right now they're about 46 billion light years of the observable universe. So I'm just answering the question.
And OT,
But some stars are only like 4.3 light years, which is around 43 trillion kilometers. So
That'd be Alpha Centauri,
That
right?
would be Alpha
as
Centauri.
and approximately, which you can't see, but it's there as well.
Hey, if
so
you have better
that's the
than-
answer to the question.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome, Job. Actually, no. This is Eliphaz. You're welcome, Eliphaz.
Yeah. And OT, no, Job is not the oldest book in the Bible. What verse was I at?
If you
Matthew.
say that it is, Chris will get very angry.
Yeah.
I will drive over to your house and I will beat you and then I will make you suck my cock.
Jeez.
In that order.
Jeez.
I was just gonna get really mad and destroy the soundboard because that also it makes me mad now.
Wow, that
I think
solves
you're on
all the
verse 13
problems.
now.
Yes. And thou sayest, how doth God know? Can he judge through the dark cloud? Thick clouds are a covering to him, that he seeth not, and he walketh in the circuit of heaven. So he can't see through clouds?
Apparently. I mean, the macular clouds that are between us and the center of the galaxy that hide a lot of visible wavelengths, there's infrared
Yeah.
that goes through there in radio. So why can't God see infrared in radio? Right? What's going on here?
God
Because
is
God
on.
doesn't look in infrared. Everyone knows he looks in polarized waves.
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay.
Come on. Get
Yeah,
on.
see, there's not even like a note here for that.
Yeah.
Because is it just like saying that he's like turning a blind eye to something? Is that what's going on?
No, he's not capable of seeing in those
Okay,
spectrums.
well, I don't know.
So we're in verse 13, right?
14 was
14,
what I
yeah.
just read.
14.
Yeah, clouds are his shelter. He does not see on the rim.
Yeah,
Rim.
okay, here, just to answer your question. So Gordis notes with 14 that it basically the whole idea is that he saunters up. He literally says, not only is God far away, but he saunters about in his heavenly realm, unconcerned with men far below.
Okay, gotcha. He's like the Undertaker, unconcerned with material things.
Yes.
Okay.
Great. Hast thou marked the old way which wicked men have trodden, which were cut down out of time, whose foundation was overflown with a flood, which said unto God, Depart from us, and what can the Almighty do for them? Is the flood up there a reference to Noah?
I don't think so.
It's just a flood.
Specifically, because so this translation says washed away, and then according to Alter, what is that, 16? Who are shriveled before their time, their foundation pours out like a river. So no, I don't think so.
So mine says as we're washed away by a river, and there's this reference to washed is reference to a Hebrew word,
Yeah. They all reference the Hebrew word.
SHADDAI.
Oh, hold on. I think are you talking about Shaddai?
Yes.
Oh no, that's the name for God in here.
Well,
Yeah.
let's continue. Yet,
That's what's translated as the Almighty.
Okay.
all right. Let's continue. Yet he filled.
So real quick, Gordis does note that the tradition might have had a flood narrative in mind when writing this. He renders it as a river is poured upon, hence washes away their foundation, kind of.
You're poured out or washed away by a river, and but by God, right? That's what the reference to the Shaddai, and there's a reference to that in verse 17 as well.
All right. Yet he filled their houses with good things, but the counsel of the wicked is far from me. The righteous see it and are glad, and the innocent laugh them to scorn. Whereas our substance is not cut down, but the remnant of them the fire consumeth. Acquaint now thyself with him, and be at peace. Thereby good shall come unto thee. Receive, I pray thee, the law from his mouth, and lay up his words in thine heart. If thou return to the Almighty, thou shalt be built up. Thou shalt put away iniquity far from thy tabernacles. Then,
Or tint.
yes, then shalt thou lay up gold as dust, and the gold of Ophir as the stones of the brooks. What is
Ophir?
It says that Ophir, to the south of the land of Israel, was celebrated for its fine gold. The Hebrew says simply Ophir. Okay, so it's just like a really rich place, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yea, the Almighty shall be thy defense, and thou shalt have plenty of silver. For then shalt thou...
Silver?
Yeah, silver.
No.
Aw,
no,
man.
No,
no
none of
silver.
That. Not in this house of God.
Yeah.
You're not tricking us like that.
That's sinful.
This is the work of Satan.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, for sure. Why not?
I like silver.
Yeah, real quick on Ophir. There's no consensus on its location, but many take it to be around southern or southeastern Arabia.
Okay, fair enough.
So it's supposed to be like an El Dorado?
Yeah, like
Kinda.
in El Dorado.
Great.
Wait. What if Job is providing us with a treasure map?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Wow. No.
Yes.
Never.
Definitely.
It's a trap.
Doesn't happen.
This book is all just symbolic treasure map.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time. There's a whole bunch of pirate treasure maps
First
out
of
there.
all, I hate
Yeah.
you so much.
Those pirates would carry treasure maps all around the world
That
with
would be
them.
the dumbest thing they could possibly do.
They needed to remember where they buried their
They
treasure.
would. Why would they bury treasure? Okay, never mind. Okay.
Okay.
Sometimes you just gotta bury the treasure, man.
Ugh,
Sometimes.
assholes.
Yep.
You use the treasure. You don't bury it.
Burying it is using it in a way.
No, it
Yeah.
isn't. Okay, just let's
It's a-
continue with
Wait,
Bible
wait,
stuff. This
no,
is pissing me off.
bury it. It's when you bury it. It's like a bank,
Trolling.
and it's gonna start accruing interest.
Chris, you're trolling too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking pissing
definitely.
me off.
Okay,
that-
let's
You know-
return
you know,
back to Job.
once upon a
back
time-
to Job. Back to Job.
Once
Return
upon a
to the
time,
Almighty. Come on.
I learned I learned recently that Yahweh was a volcano god.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And Job is the oldest book in the Bible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like volcanoes.
Great. You know, all those volcanoes in the Middle
We're
East.
gonna troll each other. It's a troll war now.
All right.
Anyways.
Back to the verse.
Yeah, we're sidetracked, and we're not even done with the first chapter yet.
Come on.
Yes.
For then shalt thou have thy delight in the Almighty, and shall lift up thy face unto God. Thou shalt make thy prayer unto him, and he shall hear thee, and thou shalt pay thy vows. Has he made
Pay the
vows?
vows?
I don't recall him making any vows.
Oh, well.
Which verse was that?
27.
27. Yeah, I don't have a note on 27.
I don't recall
But,
him making a single vow.
Me either.
Okay. Thou shalt...
The idea is that the vows will be future.
Oh.
Okay.
So at 27, Gordis notes Job's prayers will be answered in the first stitch, and he will therefore be able to pay his vows of thanksgiving. So it's vows for the future tense.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, if he never pays vows, then this guy's a false prophet and can be put to death.
No, he's just an ass.
Maybe. Thou
He's
shalt
probably
also...
a pirate.
Thou shalt make thy prayer unto him, and he shall hear thee. Thou shalt pay his vows. Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee, and the light shall shine upon thy ways. That isn't very specific. Thou shalt decree a thing. And-
I decree a thing.
yeah. When men are cast down, then thou shalt say, there is lifting up, and he shall save the humble person. He shall deliver the island of the innocent, and it is delivered by the pureness of thine hands. Obviously, there's no literal island.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the end of
So
chapter
essentially,
22.
so this dude basically says, "Hey Job, go back to God, return to the Almighty, and
You're guilty of all your shit. Get your act together, because otherwise you're going to have a bunch of iniquity.
I mean, this is very much along the Puritan line that
Yeah.
you are troubled, you've lost all this wealth and possessions because you've been wicked. So turn back to God, because rich people are favored by God because they're rich."
Well, not necessarily, because it does say that like even the richest sinner will like their time is going to be all well and good, but it's going to be short on earth. So I don't think it would be that exactly.
Well, also Eliphaz is kind of painting Job out to be a pretty terrible person.
Just the worst.
Like
yeah.
he's saying,
Especially after his family died.
Right. He says, "Thou hast sent widows away empty, and the arms of the fatherless have been broken." Like,
Yeah.
wow.
That's how I comfort people.
What a great friend. I'm glad we know him.
Yeah. But if you're enjoying the stream, despite our many
Audio
ridiculous
issues.
problems,
Yeah. I'm glad we, for the most part, got that solved.
Apparently,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's, I'm going to be so happy when you have enough money to get, like,
Yeah. We'll
a
get
real
stuff.
thing like Mrs. Gredenhard had, and I used to have a real audio board.
oh yeah,
Oh, man, I miss having a real audio board.
yeah.
Please help us out. We need a real audio board.
Why
This
don't you
thing's
put one
nice,
in your Amazon wish list?
Yeah, our Amazon
that's
wish
true.
list.
It doesn't have an audio board in it.
It doesn't.
we
have
gotta
an
find a
audio
good
board
one.
in it.
Let's talk to Steve. Maybe we'll go to Shishai's, or you know Steve on Facebook and stuff. You could ask, don't
Sure,
you?
I could, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy for audio. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah.
Thanks
Yep.
for watching. Thanks for putting up with our shit. I'm sorry I'm pissy, but I'm over it.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Were I pissy or the audio board?
How
about both?
Because of the audio.
Yeah, how about both? Yeah.
Hey guys, there's this thing called the Book of Job.
Yeah. Chapter 23.
Yes, chapter 23.
Yes.
I'll hop right into this one. Then Job answered and said, "Today also my complaint is bitter. My hand is heavy on account of my groaning. Oh, that I knew where I might find him, that I might come even to his seat. I would lay my case before him and fill my mouth with arguments." So he wants to debate with God.
He wants his legal argument.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a lawyer.
I would know what he would answer me and understand what he would say to me. Would he contend with me in the greatness of his power? No. He would pay attention to me. There an upright man could argue with him, and I would be acquitted forever by my judge. So he's completely blameless in this. Behold!
Behold.
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 I go forward, but he is not there, and backward, but I do not perceive him. On the left hand, when he is working, I do not behold.
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 Him,
Behold.
but he turns to the right hand, but I do not see him. But he knows the way I take. When he has tried me, I shall come out as gold. My foot has held fast to his steps. I have kept his way and have not turned aside. I have not departed from the commandment of his lips. I have treasured the words of his mouth more than my portion of food. But he is unchangeable, and who can turn him back? What he desires, that he does, for he will complete what he appoints for me, and many such things are in his mind. Therefore, I am terrified at his presence. Then, when I consider, I am in dread of him. God has made my heart faint. The Almighty has terrified me. Yet I am not silenced because of the darkness, nor because thick darkness covers my face. So I'm guessing that last line about thick darkness covering his face. Hilarious.
It says the received text reads from my face or from my presence, mipene, but the suspect initial mem from before the word for face is probably a dittography induced by the occurrence of mipne from or from before in the first verset.
Possible.
So Job basically is saying, hey, if I could find God, I would present my case. But he's claiming that he's blameless, right? Is he claiming he's without sin, or is he just blameless?
Well,
He's claiming he hasn't done anything wrong and God is a dick.
And he's right.
Yes.
He's totally right in this case. God's doing a bad wager.
Yeah. So one of the things I find interesting here is and maybe Chris can shed some light on this. A verse, 13. It says that he is unchangeable. Now I have a note here that says, or the word instead of unchangeable can be one. So it would say God is one.
Alter translates it as he wants but one thing, and says the literal sense of the sentence is he is in one.
And mine says, but he is unique, and who can turn him?
Gordis renders it, he is set on one idea. He says another suggestion to read, he has chosen. As a parallel to the phrase in stitch B, for which Psalm 132:13 is cited. However, the later passage deals with an act of choice, an idea totally irrelevant here. Obviously, the phrase in the Masoretic text is idiomatic. It is best rendered "he is one," i.e., unchangeable, fixed, or determined. The bait is the bait essentiae. Okay, there you go.
So he's saying that his mind can't be changed.
Basically.
Okay.
Or you can't trick him into a different mind that yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously Genesis is detached from this because his mind changes all the time in Genesis.
Yeah, a lot of people.
He repents from things and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a decent amount of people that change God's mind in this book. So just out of curiosity, when people say that God is unchanging, is this the verse that they're referencing?
No, usually they reference the Psalms.
Okay, gotcha. All right, but that was the end of chapter 23. Now, in chapter 24, I think I can hand it off to Chris. Job is still talking.
Yes.
Yeah. So drop a like if you're enjoying the stream, even though we had some major audio issues at the beginning. We apologize. Share the stream if you care about us. All those links that Nightbot is posting now, which is great, because Nightbot hasn't been posting for.
We don't know what's up with it.
Yeah, we don't really know.
I wish tech was reliable.
Me too.
How much money do I have to throw at it for it to work?
I don't know, but we'll pass it off to Chris for chapter 24.
Job. Here we go. Since the times of judgment are not hidden from the Almighty, why do those who love him never seek the days of retribution? The wicked remove the ancient landmarks. They steal flocks and pasture them as their own. They drive off the ass of the fatherless and take the widow's ox in pledge. They force the needy off the road so that the poor of the earth all cower in hiding. So basically, he's talking about Republicans here.
Those people are really, they're not nice.
Yeah. The oppressed as wild asses in the desert go forth to their toil. They seek food in the wilderness, bread for their young. They reap in the field, not their own. They toil late in the vineyard of the wicked. At night they lie naked without clothes, with no covering in the cold.
How
Drenched
dare
by the mountain rains, lacking shelter, clinging to the rocks. The wicked snatch the orphan child from the breast and take the poor man's babe in pledge. The oppressed go about naked without clothes and are hungry as they carry the sheaves. Mid rows of olive trees, they press out oil. They tread the wine vats, they remain thirsty. The dying groan in terror, and the wounded cry out for help. Yet in all this, God sees nothing wrong.
Hold on.
Wow.
The
Everything's
evildoers.
just fine. Everything's fine. What's your problem? Complaint.
Okay, hold on. Can we talk about that for just a second?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Basically, every last imaginably terrible thing on Earth is happening, and Job is saying God just turns an eye and doesn't give a shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because mine says God does not pay attention to folly.
Yeah.
God.
Right? God has better things to do or
So
something like that.
let's-
But where is this whole, if a sparrow falls, blah, 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 the least of my blah, blah, blah. So what's going on here? Is this Job being rhetorical? Because Job is speaking, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not Job being rhetorical, really.
This is not even like.
Job in this is very much on the borderline of blasphemy.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
blasphemous. I don't even think it's borderline anymore. I'm pretty sure saying God is cool with a bunch of bad stuff is blasphemous. Maybe.
Well,
I don't know.
Is he incorrect?
No, he's
Because
right.
He seems to be just describing the world that he sees around him.
Yeah.
Here's how Alter talks about the last verse that we just read, that God finds no cause for blame. That's how he translates it. This summarizing clause succinctly states Job's indictment of divine justice. The poor go hungry and thirsty, brutally exploited by the ruthless rich. Multitudes of murdered people cry out in their death throes. Yet God sees nothing awry.
Well, that makes his argument inconsistent, because this whole time he's been arguing, if I could just make my case before God, then he would surely find me blameless.
True.
But here he's saying that God doesn't give a shit about any of the bad things that happen to people.
Yeah.
So why would he think that putting his case before God would make him be found blameless?
That's a good point.
This feels like a natural escalation of a very bad situation in terms of how Job is thinking about it. First he might be saying, well, I could argue with God, and now he's saying, no, I can't. He's taking that back.
God doesn't pay attention to such folly, such trivial matters.
Yeah.
By the way, on my translation in verse 5, there was a behold.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Behold.
Sure, why not?
Behold.
I don't think I'll count that. Sorry,
Yeah,
man.
don't, because I would have had another behold. Also,
Yeah.
so.
All right, verse 13.
The evildoers rebel against the light. They refuse to know its ways, and do not stay in its paths. At nightfall, the murderer arises. He kills the poor and the needy, and in the night he is a thief. The eye of the adulterer also waits for dusk, saying, no eye will see me, as he places a disguise on his face. In the dark they dig through houses which they marked for themselves by day. They never see the light, for to them every morning is like darkness, and daybreak like the terrors of deepest gloom. You say to me, they perish swiftly like water. Their estate is cursed in the land. No treader of vineyards will turn their way. As drought and heat carry off snow water, so does Sheol those who have sinned. Even
Sheol?
though his mother's
hell?
Sheol, yeah, the underworld.
I like the King James.
Underworld is specifically hell.
Yeah, well, here kind of Sheol's being a little bit personified as carrying off the sinners.
Oh.
I like the King James version of
I'm sorry.
verse
Be very careful how you finish that sentence.
verse 17. It says, for the morning is to them even as the shadow of death. If one knows them, they are in the terrors of the shadow of death.
Yeah.
And mine says, for the morning is the same to them as thick darkness, for he is similar with the terrors of thick darkness. So I would say I would have to give it that the King James is more poetic.
I guess so.
Okay. Even his mother's womb forgets him. The worm finds his sweet to the taste, and he is remembered no longer. Thus wickedness is broken as a tree, because he crushes the barren woman so that she cannot give birth, and he ill treats the widow. The mighty man may continue in his strength, he may survive, but has no faith in life. God may let him feel safe and secure, but his eyes are on man's ways. Wait just a little, and they are no more. They are brought low, fading like grass, and are cut off like a head of grain. If this is not so, who will prove that I lie and show that my words are worthless?
So that was kind of a strange digression. It gets very different there. And it looks like that's noted in Erdman's. In chapter 24, we begin to move into the area of dislocation of the third cycle of speeches. Part of the chapter does not fit in the mouth of Job. Thus, either he is quoting his friends or some set piece of wisdom on the fate of the wicked, or we have to see the section from verses 18 to 25 as part of the speech of one of the friends. Alternatively, this could be a separate fragment, somewhat like chapter 28. There's no problem with the first half of the chapter. Here, Job wonders why God does not have set times of judgment and meted out on set days. The question here is really why God does not let the righteous see that he is punishing wickedness. So what do you think about the idea that that last part that we just read from verse 18 was from something separate?
I tend to think that is probably the case, especially because later on we're going to find that Zophar doesn't have his own conclusion.
Okay. That's right.
In this section, all of the format is just completely ruined.
Well,
Interesting.
Landon, before you start chapter 25, why don't we have our guests know that they should give us a like
They should give us a like
or a dislike,
or a dislike.
whatever you want. Really, it's the
Click that up button, the little thumbs up button would be
Yes.
nice. Share it. Maybe tweet it. Send it to your friends, your landlords, your the tax collector, publicans.
It's right on your face,
sinners.
Landon.
Okay, I'll give you this caveat. Always do a thumbs up anytime Landon is on, and a thumbs down anytime we just have to look at Lawrence.
Yeah, seriously. It's awful. Why do you think I don't make singular videos with just my face in them anymore? Horrible. Just horrible. Bad PR. But,
Yeah. Wait, you're saying that you don't do porn anymore?
I do, but I'm not really like the focus.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, before we get into the next chapter, do you guys hear something?
No, let's not do
Oh,
that.
no,
I
you don't
think
hear
the
anything?
soundboard
we
is
don't
messing
hear
up.
anything at all.
No problem today.
No,
I think it's the demon of the soundboard again.
Yep. See
Nope.
why I don't want to do it?
no problem today,
It's
apparently.
it's way louder than everything we do.
Wow.
Weird.
Yeah,
Okay.
well,
Then Landon, why don't you read chapter 25 for us?
Because we don't have problems. Jesus is not causing any problems today.
yeah,
No.
sorry.
Okay. Chapter 25. Then Bildad the Shuhite answered, Dominion and awe belong to him. Who establishes peace in his heights? Is there any number to his troops? And upon whom does his light not rise? How then can man be just with God? Or how can he be clean who is born of a woman?
Ooh.
Even the moon has no brightness, and the stars are not pure in his sight.
Mine says,
How
behold,
much
even
less
to the moon.
man, that maggot, and the son of man, that worm.
Ooh.
Hey, wait! It's scientifically accurate. The moon doesn't have brightness. It's just reflecting the light from the sun. So, the Bible's scientific, guys.
Though, if you look at the moon in the X-rays, you'll see the moon actually fluorescing in the X-rays due to the solar wind, where you have high energy particles striking the surface and causing X-ray scatter. So
Yeah, but we don't have X-ray vision, so it doesn't count.
Yes. So it's like it's dealing with but you're right. It is sort of that business. I think what they're trying to say here about the moon is that the moon, the bright orb, is essentially as darkness and blah blah blah. Because Job, I guess it's sort of saying that man is inferior.
Yeah, basically.
And so it's a 6-verse chapter. What's with that? I mean, why? Are they saying because it's going back and forth?
It looks like that probably what ended up happening was that there was probably a lot more to the speech, but it has been subtracted from over time.
Someone altered the word of God?
Apparently,
What?
yes.
So yeah, there's a little section. There's a section from Alter on this. Bildad's speech, as we have it in the received text, only 6 verses, is inordinately brief, less than a third the length of the other speeches in the debate, and a section or sections of it almost certainly have been displaced or lost in the process of scribal copying. The translation follows a common proposal in transposing chapter 26, 5 through 14, to Bildad's discourse here. Those verses, which are wholly devoted to a rhapsodic celebration of God's cosmic powers, are altogether implausible as part of Job's speech, though that is how they are assigned in the received text. So at least
you're saying that this person claims that perhaps chapter 26 verses 5 through 14 were really part of Bildad's speech.
Yes.
yes.
Well, then I'll carry on with chapter 26, I guess.
Let's see if Chris has any thoughts on that. Anything else to add to that?
The only thing I'm going to add is actually in verse 2. There, actually throughout, there's a little bit more astrological conception going on. Specifically, actually, so where Landon had, he makes peace in high places, or something similar to that.
It establishes his peace in his heights.
In his heights. So it is more accurately translated, actually, he makes peace in his high heaven.
Okay.
What does the King James say?
The King James says, "Dominion and fear are with him. He maketh peace in his high places."
Classic.
So those are high places that they're supposed to take down.
Yeah.
With verse 6, you said that. Okay, so your translation had Son of Man. My translation, the English Standard Version, also has Son of Man, and then there's also Alter's translation, which says humankind. But it's really interesting that when people talk about the Son of Man, and they're talking about Jesus, like Son of Man just means human.
Yeah.
So I have to look more into. Especially like Daniel and John.
It's like Adventure Time. There's Finn the Human.
Yeah. So how much less man?
The phrase is Oben Adam, which is literally the son of mankind.
Yeah. Okay.
But how much less man, that maggot? How much? And the son of man, that worm, right? I guess what they're saying that people are nothing though. So how is this a response to Job was basically saying God doesn't pay attention to iniquities, and Bildad says man's inferior. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably this is a result. The reason it's so obscure is because of its redactions that have taken place in it.
Yeah, kind of a bummer.
Well, let me continue with chapter 26.
Yeah.
But Job answered and said, How hast thou helped him that is without power? How savest thou the arm that hath no strength? How hast thou counseled him that hath no wisdom? And how...
Are you sure you're reading 26?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is chapter 26.
Okay, so real quick. Interesting real note. Gordis places verses 5 through 14 of 26 in the words of Bildad.
Okay. So to put verse 5 of 26 as really the followation from chapter 25, verse 6?
Yeah, he puts it as a continuation of that.
Yeah, that is noted. That's also in Alter's version. He has it the same way, but he also pointed that out. But what's interesting is he's also referencing verses 2 through 4 here, saying that these verses break off to be followed by a new formula for introducing Job's speech. Either a long section has been lost, or these lines belong somewhere in a previous speech of Job's. This is crazy. The amount of stuff that has been switched around in Job.
Yeah.
Jump around. You're seriously jumping around.
Okay.
Well, but this is the word of God, and it's unchanging, right? So
Anyway.
explain that.
How hast thou counseled him that hath no wisdom? And how hast thou plentifully declared the thing as it is? To whom hast thou uttered words? And whose spirit came from thee? Now I'm at verse 5. Dead things
Weird
are
response. Okay.
dead things are formed from under the waters, and the inhabitants thereof. Hell is naked before him, and destruction hath no covering. Is hell Sheol?
Yeah.
Yours?
Yeah, we have it's Sheol and Abaddon. Here are I argue that they should be actually understood as deified beings here.
Why is that?
Because they're being personified as people.
I see.
Yeah, and this is verse
6.
6. Okay, so he actually includes it.
Because it's saying
over
that your shoulder is naked and it has no covering, right?
Yeah.
They're referring them not to places, but as if they're people that don't have clothes.
So, according to Alter, it says Sheol is naked before him, and perdition is without garb. Perdition, okay. So that's really interesting. And the thing is, because it says Abaddon, which, by the way, is a very good character in Supernatural, Abaddon, Knight of Hell. I just want to point that out.
Great.
Very great character. But yeah, that's all I have to say on that.
Wow, thanks, G.
Great. Well, it may also be a figurative statement.
Well, sure. I understand that. I'm just saying that I like the portrayal in Supernatural.
Okay. He stretcheth rather out the
Verse
north
7.
over the empty place.
I'm sorry, he stretches it out, as in the Bible predicted the Big Bang? Not
Obviously.
predicted.
Oh,
That would be
is that a what's his face's argument?
Yeah, Ken Hovins.
Hugh Ross
Yes.
too.
And hangeth the earth upon nothing.
See? It's in space.
Yep.
Knew about space.
Yep. Because space is nothing.
Yep, apparently.
Definitely.
Yep.
Back.
Yeah, but when Maya says he stretches out the north over empty space,
Yeah.
which implies
That's what
he's a
Gordon
flat
says
earther
also.
because the south doesn't exist. It's north. It goes up. See, because it's a flat Earth,
Oh,
and so
yes.
they're saying north is up. So this is implying a flat Earth view of the
Yes.
Earth.
Right.
Yeah. Here's actually something really cool. So Alter's translation is he stretches Zaphon over the void, hangs earth over emptiness, and his note is Zaphon is the mountain dwelling of Baal, the Syro-Canaanite weather god, this mythological reference sets the stage for the invocation of the battle with the primordial sea monster in verses 11 to 13. Ooh.
Well, we'll get to that.
Gordis makes mention of that as well.
So what I mean, what is the Hebrew word? He stretches out. Mine's translated the north. What is it what's the Hebrew there that's referring to? What does he stretch out over empty space?
Basically, if we were to take it in its mythological context, it would be referencing the divine mountain that the gods took assembly on.
Okay.
Oof. He bindeth up the waters in his thick clouds, and the cloud is not rent under them.
See, they knew that the clouds were made of water vapor.
Oh yeah,
Whoa.
definitely.
This is foreshadowing the flood of Noah, right? Because of something, I don't know.
God.
Maybe. He holdeth back the face of his throne, and spreadeth his cloud upon it.
Now mine says the fate of the full moon.
Oh, the full moon.
Mine also says full moon.
Mine does not.
Let's see. Which verse is that? That's 9.
Yeah.
Covers the face of the throne, spreads his cloud upon it.
That's what mine has.
The throne. Yeah. That's weird. Let's see if he has anything that notes on. No, he's got no notes on it.
Great.
We can check Erdman's. See if that's in there. So
Erdman.
there's a difference between throne
And moon.
We
hope.
Yeah, there is a difference between
We hope.
throne
We
and
all
moon.
hope.
Unless the moon is literally the throne of God,
That would be new.
and God's there on the moon right now.
That's why everyone crashes, except,
Yep, that's why everyone crashes.
What is that? Chapter 27, right?
Yeah, but then how did the astronauts get there?
See, big conspiracy. It wraps right up into the moon landing is fake.
No, the moon landing happened because God was blessing the USA.
Gordis notes that the reading of full moon is actually inferior to a few other readings that have been suggested, primarily based off of a performative main that's been elided into a labial.
Right. Well, which verse is that? Is that?
Verse 9, where with the moon, a full day of the moon.
Oh, verse 9, right, and right, okay, so he has it actually differently. Oh, I don't know which one they're using. Okay, because this is the one that could be in either speech. So I don't know which one they're using here. I'm going to have to look for this specifically, so I guess keep reading.
Okay. He hath compassed the waters with bounds until the day and night come to an end. The pillars of heaven tremble and are astonished at his reproof. He divideth the sea with his power, and by his understanding he smiteth through the proud.
Okay, wait. There's a huge mythological bit here, because the proud is actually Rahab.
Yeah, mine says he shattered Rahab.
Right. Rahab is a mythological chaos serpent. So basically, this is basically what a retelling of how Marduk split Tiamat, the primordial sea, in half.
Yeah, because I do have the translation for that is Yam and Rahab.
Yes.
Yeah. He subdued Yam. And in his cunning, he smashed Rahab.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think I found something about it here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know. However, my own inclination is to leave it in, talking about the verses that could be in either speech. Is to leave it in, partly on the ground that it does contain a slightly unorthodox note, which we have seen to be characteristic of Job's speeches in the dialogue. Verses 5 and 6 tell of God's dominion over the underworld. but verses 7 through 14 tell of his power reflected in his creative activity. The unorthodox note here is that God's power in creation is seen as frightening, whereas usually in the Psalms and in the prophets it is to be praised. Really, why does nobody talk about the damn moon thing? That seems interesting.
Yeah.
C'est la vie.
I'm gonna write
verse
that
9,
one down.
He obscures the face of the full moon and spreads his cover over it. Spreads his cloud over it, sorry.
Yeah. Well, by his spirit he hath garnished the heavens. His hand hath formed the crooked serpent. Lo, these are parts of his ways, but how little a portion is heard of him. But the thunder of his power, who can understand? And
That
that's
was
the
a
end of
behold
26.
in my verse 14 that
Behold!
even the King James missed. Behold.
Behold.
That is the end of chapter 26, and we got one more chapter to go.
One more.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Woo!
I mean, one of the chapters was only 6 verses, so.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Sorry, Landon.
Oh well. I tried to give it dramatic effect, but
Yeah.
Alright. Drop a like if you haven't already.
Yeah,
I'd
donate
appreciate
to our Patreon, too.
it. Also, yes. Oh, and
check out your Amazon wish list because there's stuff there. Because if you buy books, then they read them and do videos on them, and you can enjoy the
And
fruits of
sound
your
equipment,
verses.
maybe.
well,
Yes.
once we put that on there. It's not on there yet. But either way, yeah, all links are in the description, or Nightbot is posting them once in a while.
Yes.
Great. Let's hop right into chapter 27.
Why don't we do that?
Yeah. And we are also, actually, after the show, we're doing our
Patron
Patreon
hangout.
hangout.
Yeah.
And Job again took up his discourse. Wait. Hold on. Again, he took up his discourse. Isn't he
Yeah, he's still
still
on it.
talking
Yeah,
before?
Yeah.
So
Right.
the fact that it says that, isn't that a note that...
it's redundant.
In the King James, he says, "Moreover, Job continued his parable and said."
Yeah,
Oh,
but
that
the
makes
thing
more
is,
sense.
They didn't do that before, so
we-
that is very unorthodox.
We have, by the way, a donation.
Yes.
Some explanations have argued that likely in between those was supposed to be the speech of Zophar.
Yeah, I could definitely see that being an explanation.
Yes.
Uh,
Thank you, Ragabash Dabbler.
been out of the country. Glad you guys are still here. Keep with the good word. Thank you. We very much appreciate that.
Yes, we do.
We do our best here.
And so
try.
this is going towards the alchemy.
Yes, going right
Event?
towards the alchemy drive.
Yep. As soon as we hit 666, we're
We'll
gonna
start
try
it.
to turn something into something.
Yes.
Yep.
Preferably gold.
Transmutation.
Yep. So, anyways, Job is again taking up his discourse after just talking.
Yes.
And said, "As God lives, who has taken away my right, and the Almighty, who has made my soul bitter."
This is Shaddai.
Well, yeah, Shaddai would.
Yes.
As long as my breath is in me, and the Spirit of God is in my nostrils, my lips will not speak falsehood. This is really weird. This is so contrasted to the Job that we were hearing before.
Yeah.
Well, was he speaking falsehood before?
Well,
No. Just read on. He gets blasphemous again.
okay, great. And my tongue will not, like, I'm guessing that it would be like he's telling the truth in all of the shit he's talking about God, which would be totally.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's affirming his own righteousness, which sounds blasphemous to me, but
All right. Well, anyways, let's read on. And my tongue will not utter deceit. Far be it from me to say that you are right till I die. I will not put away my integrity from me. I hold fast to my righteousness, and will not let it go. My heart does not reproach me for any of my days. Let my enemy be as the wicked, and let him who rises up against me be as the unrighteous. For what is the hope of the godless when God cuts him off, when God takes away his life.
Hold on.
God's gonna cut him down.
Alter says before verse 8, he has in brackets, and Zophar the Namathite spoke up, and he said.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't even
Yeah.
have a
So,
note.
so you're saying so that the you're saying that verse 7 is the beginning of that?
The end of verse 7, the beginning of verse 8.
Okay, so apparently in some... Does he have a note for that?
Nope.
No note, really?
No note.
Okay,
Chris?
Chris, have you seen anything
Yeah.
on that being part of somebody else's speech?
Nope, I've not seen that before.
Huh,
Wow.
that's really weird. This is chapter 27. You want to look through this, Ruben?
Sure.
Okay, it's one of the one of the bookmarks.
Gordon, so I'm looking through the Hebrew and I can't find a reference to Zophar, so it looks like it's Alter's own supposition. But Gordis just renders it, for I said, let my enemy be in the wrong, blah, 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 blah.
Okay, so it's not somebody else's speech. Okay.
It might be. It might be.
Well, no, I mean in his translation. It's
Oh,
not.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, not in Gordis's.
Okay. Well, I'll continue. Will God hear his cry when distress comes upon him? Will he take delight in the Almighty? Will he call upon God at all times? I will teach you concerning the hand of God. What is with the Almighty I will not conceal. Behold!
Behold!
Behold.
Yeah, Eerdmans doesn't say anything about it at all.
It doesn't say anything about it.
Bob.
Yep.
Oh my God! Come on, guys. This is nuts. I'm writing all this stuff down because
We should ask
so intriguing.
Alter about this. Send him an email.
I'll try. What verse was that exactly? Verse 8?
The end of verse 7.
7.
Yeah, the beginning of verse 8.
Okay.
I mean, it's like separated a little bit
Okay, does
here.
it say how much of it
Look,
is?
it's just there.
Oh.
And I guess it frames the rest of the chapter as being said by Zophar the Namathite.
Okay. So yeah, he has this. All of that. Yeah. So it goes all the way through verse 23. Okay. So that's interesting. Maybe that's yeah, that's just him trying to put in the last piece of the cycle, I'm guessing.
I guess.
Yeah, that would be my best guess, but that's interesting. Okay. Where was I? Call upon God at all times. I will teach you concerning the hand of God. What is with the Almighty I will not conceal. Behold, all of you have seen it yourselves. Why then have you become altogether vain? This is... See, that wouldn't make sense if Zophar said it.
Okay.
Alter says, these impatient words make sense coming from Zophar, as the last of the three reprovers to speak in the debate. He turns to his two friends and berates them for not making their case against Job more forcefully clear to him.
What? No. What?
Where's he implying all that?
The vanity thing would only make sense from
Yeah.
Job. Okay, what? Okay, shut the fuck up, Alter. Okay.
He also says for verse 8, this speech
Yeah,
begins with the
Real
recurrent...
quick.
Hold on. What you got, Chris?
So what Gordis does, Gordis argues that Zophar's speech actually begins with verse 13.
Alter says it's verse 8 because he says it begins with the recurrent central theme of the friend's verbal assault on Job. The man who has polluted himself through evil acts will never really profit from them because God's stern retribution will overtake him.
Well, let's continue on.
Boy, do I wish we had originals. This is the portion of a wicked man with God, and the heritage that oppressors receive from the Almighty. If his children are multiplied, it is for the sword, and his descendants have not enough bread. Those who survive him, the pestilence buries, and his widows do not weep. Though he heap up silver like dust and pile up clothing like clay. He may pile it up, but the righteous will wear it, and the innocent will divide the silver. He builds his house like a moth's, like a booth that a watchman makes. He goes to bed rich, but will do so no more. He opens his eyes, and his wealth is gone. Terrors overtake him like a flood. In the night, a whirlwind carries him off. The east wind lifts him up, and he is gone. It sweeps him out of his place. It hurls at him without pity. He flees from its power in the headlong flight. It claps its hands at him and hisses at him from its place.
It says
Thank you for the sound effects.
both are conventional gestures of scorn.
They are? Holy shit.
But at the same time, the sound of clapping and hissing or whistling neatly evoke the violent motion of the storm wind.
So, real quick, beginning with verse 13 is where Gordis argues Zophar's speech begins.
Right.
Which makes more sense because that's harping on the sinner's portion.
Sure.
Yes. With that being said,
We are now done.
Here.
yeah.
We are done. And I'm going to turn this around one more time.
Turn around.
So, everybody, if you've enjoyed our stream today, be sure to give us a like.
Just forget about the first, 10 minutes with all the
Yeah, sorry
issues.
about that.
Yep.
That never happened. You saw nothing.
You heard nothing.
So like, comment, subscribe, Patreon, Teespring, Amazon wishlist, share with your friends, family, neighbors, estranged ex-family members, prison cellmates, whatever you have. Share us around. We will someday be the most popular
Atheists
show
ever, for
in
sure.
Antarctica.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe, yeah.
That is our current goal.
Man,
Excellent.
we're sweeping the world. We got a good percentage of the world right in our hands.
And with that's
Right, hold on. I'm going to write that down.
Antarctica?
No. So I wanted to. I was talking to you about this, Chris, actually a little bit ago, about a new Behold shirt, but it's gonna be literally hands holding a bee.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh yes.
So I think that would be good.
Or the other emoji that does the thing.
The grasp.
yeah, something like that. But I kind of want to play off of the he's got the whole world in his hands type of thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Behold.
Yeah. So that's an idea for.
And by the way, speaking of T-shirts, this is a T-shirt that you can also get.
Yes, that's a great T-shirt right there.
that is a great T-shirt.
Look at how beautiful it is, and you could win one.
It says Laurentium host 1000s and Iridium host tens of thousands.
Yes,
Yes. See, because that's Bible references. We've
Right.
got them.
we've got them.
All right. Anyways, thank
yep.
you everyone for joining us.
Thank you. And
Wait.
Wait.
5 beholds today.
5 beholds.
Five
That's
beholds.
right. Unofficially 6, according to Landon.
Or 7.
Well, there are 2 unofficial ones that
Oh,
we missed.
so or
but there are
7.
five
we
announced.
have more. Beholds. We've got them. Okay.
There you
Yeah,
go.
we do.
That's my new thing. And everybody, we will
See you next Sunday. Woo.